Welcome back to our Breaking It Down series on intent data. My name is Dennis Oljai, Vice President of Product Marketing at Dun & Bradstreet. Our next series talks a little bit about the use cases of intent, right? So in our first section, we talked about what is intent data. Now we want to talk a little bit about, well, how can you use this powerful tool in your go-to-market, right? I think about it in a couple of ways, Mike, right? The first way is obviously trying to find people actively engaged in the buying cycle. I mean, we talked about that one in our first series, right? Reaching people before your competitors do when they're actively engaged in the buying cycle, right? So sourcing net new leads or prospects is certainly the first and foremost use case for intent data. But you can also use it for prioritization, right? So people that are coming inbound through a chat or through a form or organically call you, you can start layering on intent data into your modeling and lead scoring to make sure that you're focusing your most costly, I'll say, resource, which is your SDRs or your sales team, on the ones that are highest likelihood to yield success for your business, right? So prioritization, lead scoring is a big one as a complement to your ideal customer profile and their firmographics. I'll say also we have customers that are using intent data for delivering personalized experiences as well, right? So if someone's coming to your website, being able to serve up content, creative language that relates to their industry or what they're trying to buy or solve is a tremendously valuable weapon as a seller or marketer, right? So that's definitely another use case that we see among our customer base. And also we're finding people actually using intent data as a way to retain customers and prevent churn, right? So you've earned their business, they're perhaps happy, but let's be honest, there's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of choices out there. And intent data can be a great way to get ahead of that and make sure that your customers are aware of the value that you offer, right? And you can try to prevent them from potentially going to the competitor or some other options that are out there. So those are some of the use cases that I think about. What are some of the ones that you typically see?
Yeah, those are the big ones. A couple things I'd add. So if you zoom in on the prioritization use cases, we think about those in two ways. There's the straight outbound, typically performed through an SDR, an inside sales team, which you mentioned. And then there's the prioritization of leads. What we see is that it's not so much our customers have so many inbound leads that they need to prioritize those. It's more about they've already made a very, very large investment in an email database over the course of many years, right? And that's technology, that's content to do nurture, that's the acquisition of those names, which is really expensive, right? In many cases, they've paid usually about $50 a name to build that database, right? Mm-hmm. And so the ability to now do prioritization and lead scoring across that universe of a largely dead database, right? Most of those names are inactive. And so to score them based on this intent data, it takes this old large investment and kind of reignites it. So that's a particularly powerful one. The other one I'd mention that we're starting to see a lot more of is even kind of think of it as way above the funnel. And so you're doing your go-to-market planning. You're creating content for the whole year. You're deciding who your targets are from an industry or a company size perspective. All of that can be informed by the macro trends of intent, right? So I know we want to go to market with product A. Well, what industries, what regions, what company sizes are in aggregate showing more interest in product A right now, right? Or I know that I want to reach these types of accounts. Well, what's going to resonate with those accounts from kind of a macro perspective? So those are exciting because it's just kind of more bleeding edge net new use cases that we're seeing. So yeah, I think that's what I'd add to it.
So almost even before you get to the tactical level, more at the strategic level, using intent data to inform your total addressable market, your go-to-market planning, and maybe even the content and creative and theme at which you go to market with, right? Is that what you mean?
100%. Yeah. So it's almost like think of it as start with what you know, right? So maybe one thing someone knows is they want these 1,000 accounts is all they care about, and they need to penetrate these 1,000 accounts. It's like, okay, if that's true, what does intent data tell us about those 1,000 accounts that we can use to plan our go-to-market? Or vice versa, we know that we want to sell product A. We know that we have to push product A. We've made a huge investment in it. Okay, who should we be approaching with product A? What does that cohort care about as it relates to product A? And yeah, intent data can help inform all of those strategic decisions.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Mike, for that. That wraps up our second series of Breaking It Down, intent data. Looking forward to speaking with you on the next one, where we'll talk a little bit about how intent data is collected and how privacy restrictions are impacting the way that you should be using intent data in your go-to-market. Thank you.